It definitely encourages people to work at their best when they know, as Elena also mentioned, when you're recognized for what you're doing. I think that plays a big role in how you actually perform. Um, and so, yeah, that's more of what I like. What I don't like, I'm very minded to say something similar to you guys. Definitely the processes and admin and you know uh, yeah, the admin side of the role. But maybe sometimes a few of the hurdles, technological stuff, or some of the systems that might not be uh, as great as you wish them to be. But that's again the beauty of it, when you have all those not say issues, but when you have things that you don't necessarily feel that they are benefiting your time, and you feel like you're wasting time. I always find an opportunity there, so I flip it around, and I might suggest stuff, and I might come up with ideas and solutions to improve things. And that gives you an opportunity to talk to sort of more senior management about ideas and implementation. So even though it's a part of a role that I don't like, I choose to see, right, what can I do about it? What can I sort of contribute so that maybe in the future, new beginners and new joiners as me don't have these kind of issues and few frustrations. So
and that's an amazing mindset to have, Satiris. Thank you for sharing that. And
yeah.
speaking of mindsets and attitudes, I'm wondering, what would you say are the most important skills that someone who wants to pursue a career in finance has to have? Is it mostly soft skills like attitudes that we just talked about, or is it also technical skills? Elena, your role is pretty technical, so I'm curious to see what you have.
Right. Yeah, it is technical. Definitely it helped a lot that I took a lot of courses in my maths degree where it included programming languages like R and Python. Also, as part of my certificate in quantitative finance, we did a lot of machine learning using Python. So yeah, it did help a lot. But in my opinion, even if it's, I mean, definitely is imperative that you have the background. Let's say, I mean, if you want to join the finance industry, it's good that if you have finance background or economics background or maths background or whatever. Even though I've seen a lot of colleagues that actually they did not have that background. For example, I had a senior manager that he studied physics, or I had someone else, another colleague that they studied architecture. Sorry. So yeah, so you see that. I mean, definitely, it is good to have, but I don't see it as an essential, let's say, because I think also, for example, now that I'm learning every day on my current role, it's like technical skills you gain every single day. Like you get better and better. So yeah, that's my opinion about regarding the technical skills. Now, in terms of soft skills, I would say that in general, it's definitely good to have soft skills. For example, to be eager to ask questions, to have capacity for innovation, to constantly to get to, for example, you want to seek feedback from your colleagues or supervisors, like as in you want to be constantly improving yourself, and as well for the company's benefit, to to provide this innovation, let's say. Well, obviously, to have good time management, to provide good estimations to your seniors. For example, if they ask you, "Oh, hey, Elena, when can I have this? Can I have this by end of today?" Well, then I think then you have to give, like, good estimations. For example, if it's something that you require 5 days to finish, I'll always say give an extra, like an extra 2 days in your estimation, so that if you finish early, you'll show yourself that, yes, I can finish within the time I provided, I estimated, and it gives you an extra boost, and it shows as well to other colleagues. What else I want? And also I wanted to, I think another good skill would be to knowing when to say yes and when to say no, as in to be good at prioritizing. It happened very recently to me. That's why I'm actually mentioning it. It happened that everything seemed to be urgent. So I was like, okay, wait a minute. I have to take a step back and breathe and say, okay, what is most urgent, or what needs to be prioritized? So I kind of like had to, to balance the things and say, okay, this seems more urgent than this, so I'm going to focus on that, because, okay, well, it's good to be multitasking, but in those areas, I think you have to be picky and, where to say yes and where to say no. Yeah.
Great, that's great answer, and that's an answer that could apply to, like, pretty much around the industry, like whatever role that you are trying to pursue. So how about you, Satiris?
Yeah, I would definitely echo the point about being assertive and being, let's say, appreciating your own time and knowing, when to say yes and when absolutely yes. I guess on the point about technical skills, certainly when you join the finance industry, which can be broad, some roles might require you more sort of technical aspects. For example, the programming, as Alina said, for her role, but it's not a necessity. So as I also had in my previous role, people coming from all sorts of backgrounds, and I think what mattered is that they had the sort of willingness to learn and have those the necessary roles. For example, the teamwork, the collaboration, the being able to work with that person, sort of the more soft skills, let's say, which are very, very important nowadays. And also, as you progress and see, many companies would give you on-the-job training. For example, when I joined the grad scheme, we had both technical side training for the more role that we were doing, but also more soft skills training, like I remember influence and persuasion or negotiation skills. I remember we had actors coming in and teaching us techniques and that kind of stuff, which was great, because I think sometimes delivering messages to specific firms that we used to regulate, for example, can be hard sometimes, and managing expectations with very senior people. So I guess depends on the kind of role, but I would say soft skills are very important, and also as you go through, you discover what's more important for that particular role, but basic baseline level of soft skills, like as I said, that sort of teamwork, collaboration.
Okay, I've done this on the web, okay.
Sorry, my seat started. But also critical thinking, I found also sometimes necessary, and that you can apply it to when things crop up and you feel like you have a lot of things, being critical about and being smart as opposed to working harder, what actually requires, most of my energy and time. So that's a bit of a nutshell in terms of skills. But yeah, as I said, joining any organization, you shouldn't feel like, as in the finance industry, one shouldn't feel like you have to have, so much knowledge about finance. And, I had colleagues that joined and, studied psychology or even theology and like complete different courses. But, if you're willing to learn, as Elena said, and you have that eagerness to learn and be curious, ask a lot of questions, then you can go a long way. So, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And I think I only have one more question before we open up the floor to our audience to ask you their questions.
Okay.
And my